Hey guys, HappyCattyCrypto here and welcome back to the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed your weekends. I actually did enjoy mine, believe it or not. I sat there playing video games just in and out of what else I was doing instead of touching grass because the weather wasn't the best here on Sunday. I've been playing Starship Troopers Extermination. I'm a 90s kid and those films really... they've aged well even watching them now, but the game is just amazing and it's a good way to just zone out, so to speak. But there's so much going on in this video. I think it's just good that I get you all up to scratch as to what has happened over the weekend, what's going on, what the current perspective is, and what this Twitter space is all about today. So there is a lot of stuff going on. We'll be covering a broader amount of things that are going on. So what I want to do is, before we go any further, is kind of explain the situation on this chain. It's so greed based, so greed driven. We've done very well to self-fund ourselves and, and fund absolutely everything from the top to the bottom. We've always developed for the community. We've given all of our modules, all of our knowledge and all of our time to this chain. So it's getting to a point where I really want to be able to take LUNC Dash to the next level. And the way to do this is to actually be able to hire a developer. And the way I'm going to do this is actually by letting people advertise in these three bubbles down here at the bottom. It's absolutely no skin off anybody's nose that uses the LUNC Dash system. More importantly, what I don't want people to get confused with is this. There'll be no advertising on the wallet system. This is chain owned and it belongs to the chain. Whatever you guys want to do with this is what you guys want to do with it. But the LUNC Dash system, the dashboard, the metric system, it's something that we use and utilize, and it is something we want to keep expanding on. For example, we want to be able to integrate lots of different stuff other than money flow. We want charting systems through TradingView that costs money. We'll be able to do a lot more if we're, like I said, using these three bubbles at the bottom to more or less do paid advertisement for whoever wants to rent those out for a month at a time. So if you see random advertisements down there at the bottom, just ignore them, guys. There's nothing really for anybody to pay attention to unless you want to pay attention to them. It's totally up to you. But like I said, keeping the wallet system clean and simply keeping it on LUNC Dash. So what I want to do is keep moving this forward. So let's talk about the governance proposals currently. So the minimum commission's really tight, which is interesting because if the validating set vote for it, they probably don't know this, they'll get more in rewards. They don't know this. Even the top validators probably don't know this. Some of them do know this, but it's surprising that it's so tight on the vote there. So I have to see how that pans out. Hopefully it does pass and starts to bring in a more equalized playing field, so to speak. But something everybody needs to understand right now is the issue around the centralization of voting power is the DCM. It restricts validators like me growing, whilst validators who have substantial amounts of liquidity elsewhere can bring it over to the Lunar Classic blockchain, buy Lunar Classic and stake it with their node. And because they're getting so much in extra from the DCM, it's worthwhile them doing it. And that's why you've seen nodes like Interstellar go from, I think they had like 0.50% all the way up to now 5% voting power, and it's continuing to grow. And what they've realized is they can get more. With the 10x gas fees, they actually get 18% more. So if you do the 18% and the little bit more they'll get from that minimum commission going up, they're getting a considerable amount. The more they increase their self-stake, the more they're getting in rewards. And when they're done, they'll just sell their coins, sell out on the whole blockchain and move off to somewhere else. Now we're getting to a point where if you can't beat them, you're going to have to join them. But this just isn't the case. It's a situation where you really don't want to have to double node to sort of get control of the blockchain again. But that is what it might boil down to. If you can't get a rule set in place, if you can't get some kind of guideline for everybody to agree to in a round table, then what else is there to do? Because I tell you one thing is I'm not giving up and I'm not quitting on this chain. And I won't be moving my project off. I'll be the first person who comes up with a development layer of possibly a second layer, right? A roll up that goes on top of the chain specifically for us, for our projects. So we do have cheap gas. so we can continue to run, because I refuse to do it. I refuse to give up on this blockchain. I refuse to give up on the idea of what this blockchain can be if the greed doesn't control the chain. And the tide can easily be turned. And sometimes you have to become your enemy to defeat your enemy. And it really is as simple as that. Now, there is a meeting today on Twitter. I'm going to be live streaming it on YouTube, just in case anything interesting elapses and people try to delete the space and stuff like that. But it's quite interesting to see how alarmed all of the validators are now about the greed and all of the different things that are going on, but they've been ignoring it for so long. They have that validator group that I was part of. And as soon as they didn't want to talk about the double noding, the network noding, and I was out of there. Because those are the real issues. That's what's led to all of this. That's what's led to the centralization of voting power. That's what's led to all of these Luna validators building up their self stake, because the DCM has introduced a system where they get more rewards. So you can see it here with the 10x gas fees, exactly it happening again. And the biggest issue is, right, if you want to remove the DCM, you've got to fight all of these people. Possibly some people who have voted no would also, you'd have to fight against them. And the only way to do this is with more voting power. And someone like me, I don't have that kind of privilege, right? I can say to you all now, own up, be honest, do you redelegate from my node when the commission goes above 5%? Yes, of course you do. Because you want the maximum amount of coins that you feel like you should be getting. I think 5% is a decent amount for me to get as a validator and for you to get the rest. And it was always nice when it was like that. And when we didn't have a DCM, I had 9% voting power. We introduced the DCM. We can track it on the charts. I went down to like 3.2%. So it just goes to show, right, if I was to spin up another validator, would you guys, and let me know in the comment section, would you guys delegate with both of those two validators? When one goes up above 5%, just simply redelegate to the other one. And then if it ever gets to a point where those are getting too hefty, well then, hey, we'll just create a HCC2. And this is all me saying this, right? If they don't want to face up and come to the realization of what is going on, come to the realization that the DCM isn't doing what it fully should be doing. And everything's off canter. And it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And once they get a proposal like this passed, they're going to think to themselves, well, what else can we get passed? What else can we put through? And that's when that Nakamoto coefficient becomes very important moving forward. So a few things I want everybody to understand, right? I see people like, well, I'm going to undelegate my coins, you know. You guys are going to be getting more rewards. You're going to be getting 18% more. When this goes through, if it passes, you'll also be getting more. So I don't quite understand what the panic is. I get it if you're part of a project that have outright just gone, well, we're just going to be leaving. That's not happening with me. My treasuries will remain on Luna Classic. I will continue building on Luna Classic. And if I have to go and develop elsewhere and validate other chains to bring liquidity back to this chain, to build it up, then that is what we will do. We've been here for 2 years as of yesterday. It was our 2-year anniversary yesterday. I didn't mention it, but it's a really important point for us because we're still here. We're still developing. We're still bringing you really good tools, you know, money flow, balances, CW20 tokens. Money flow is a tool that's not seen anywhere else on any other blockchain. BitQuery specifically deal with it, and you have to pay with them for them to list you. And for me, this is what validating is all about. Being able to build stuff on the fly, being able to react on the fly, and instead of saying, oh, well, they're going to raise the gas fees 10x. Well, yeah, it's actually really positive if we got a whitelist in place. It's actually really positive if it's all done correctly. So there's ways and means to go about doing these kind of things, right? But like I said, it's not the end of the road for us, right? It's just another Monday in LUNC. It's a hurdle. We'll build a bridge and we'll get over it like we always do. And something we all need to pay very strong attention to at the moment is what is going on with Luna, what is going on with TFL, because the jury finds Terraform Labs CEO Do Kwon liable in SEC cryptocurrency fraud trial. If you haven't seen the previous video, I'll leave a link to it at the end of this video. Go back and watch it, get up to date. They're screwed, right? They don't even have, I wouldn't even say 20% of what the SEC are requesting in fines. let alone what other people are going to be asking for those who have been damaged, all of the different companies that have been damaged throughout this whole debacle, so to speak. So they're screwed. This puts Luna in a position that LUNC was in this time 2 years ago, where they don't have a development team, they don't have a vision, they don't have a group of visionaries, they just have people that are there for a paycheck, people begin to infight, rules get out of control, and before you know it, people are double noding, triple noding, and all sorts of different stuff like that. So it's going to be really interesting, right? If we can get aligned, we can get a control on this situation. And like I said, you have to fight fire with fire in this situation. I hate to be the one to say it, and I know I've said about spinning up like another node a few times and not done it. But this time I think it could possibly be the answer. It really could, that a few of us that are trusted by the community and know that we will vote for what is best for this blockchain, spin up second nodes, because Terrace Vita have got 3 nodes. Jill's got 3 nodes from what I'm told, 2 from what I definitely do know he's got 2. We all know that. But word has it, he has 3. And there's other people out there. And I see so many different people. I'm not going to name names, but like pointing this all out and saying, oh, well, you know, yeah, this is really greedy and stuff like that. And it's like, hang on a minute. We've been telling you about the DCM for some time, and you keep saying to us, oh, it's not the problem, it's not the problem, it's not the problem. But it's the leading cause as to why validators have so much voting power that are not building on this blockchain. That wouldn't get any of the delegates on this chain staking with them. So where are all of their delegations coming from? They're coming from self-stake. And we can see it in the top wallets. We can see it in the top balances. So like I was saying, it's going to be a really interesting time. Keep an eye out for the live stream. There's a link to that at the end of the video. If it's not there, it should be there. Then go and find it on the channel. It's starting at 2:30. The live itself on Twitter starts at about 3 p.m. There's going to be a load of different validators there. So I'm told all ones that are voting against the gas. I don't think there's going to be any of them there that are voting yes for it. That would be suicide in a sense for them. But nonetheless, we'll be there. We'll cover it. We'll be live and we'll get it all out there for you guys. So other than that, I think that is as much as really as to what is going on other than this IBC update to open up the chain to Axler. I think it is. This is really good, to be quite honest. It's one of the most positive things up at the moment, alongside the minimum 2% commission. So hopefully this passes, this passes, this passes, this passes, and this doesn't. When it boils down to this, what you've got to understand right now is if all nodes votes no, and Orion Money votes yes, it will pass. So it's very tight. All nodes always votes. They have a 100% voting track record. They never miss a vote. But at the same time, I would never say never to something like this because it's actually easier for them to not vote. But at the same time, remember, it's 18% more for them. It's 18% more for Orion Money. It's 18% more for you. It's 18% more for everybody. It's just projects that take the hit. Like I said, if this was done correctly, if you did it with a whitelist, you introduced a flat gas fee for projects, which would have been really good. You would have got people like White Whale and Backbone Labs would have come onto the chain. They've been dying to come onto the chain. Simple things like that. The tax to gas would have really been the right route to go with this. But once again, people jumping the guns, and this all boils down to someone who is centralizing and conning the Christian community, which I find really interesting. But there you go. That's where all of their voting power comes from. And it's only going to continue to grow unless we do something about it. Guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. As always, catch you in the next one.